This is my story of exploring the trails and culture of the Saxony region in the east of Germany with Tobi Woggon. We'd arrive in Schöneck and start by building my bike. Schöneck is a lift-assisted bike park with various grades of trails and a huge skills park. To warm up, we dropped into the Blue Line, a 2-kilometre flow trail with huge, easy-to-ride berms, rollers and tabletops. Next, it was time to check out the more natural red. All that remained was for me to hit the jump line. It was fun, and in fact, some of the jumps you could go big on. It was nice to see the level of progression and mix of trails on offer. That night, the road trip truly began. We loaded up Tobi's Land Rover and headed towards trail Centre Rabenburg. We arrived just as the sun set and built our camp.
Camp for the night, set up by the master, Tobi Woggon, excited for the first night in the Thule Approach tent. First night in the rooftop tent, slept like an absolute log. We're here in Rabenburg and we're about to check out the trails.
Fueled by a good night's sleep, a lot of coffee and some muesli, we headed off to explore the trails. It was nice being able to drop straight in from camp. There were loops from 6 to 25 kilometers for all levels of riders. The loop we'd do would be a red-graded trail, 20 kilometers in length and take between 2 and 3 hours. It flowed through the luscious green forest and was packed full of fun rollers with gaps for those that wanted and berms to keep your speed. We'd finish right back where we started, break down camp and load the bikes. Travelling on from Rabenburg and crossing into the Czech Republic, suddenly the landscape and culture changed. After driving through rolling fields, we arrived in Zittau and pulled up to a brewery. Sampling a flight of beer gave us a good taste of what they offered, and it was paired with some local cuisine. Piglet leg with sauerkraut and bread.
Maybe 2 IPA and 2 lager?
We carried on to our camp spot for the night, nestled deep in the forest.
Just like that.
We broke logs into firewood, Tobi lit the barbecue, started cooking, and I got the beers out. Things were kept simple but done well. Grilled broccoli with roasted red pepper from the fire, followed by a fillet steak. As the sun set, I climbed into the approach for another night in the rooftop tent. The morning started like always, with a coffee. We'd head on from camp to Klínovec, and the weather had taken a turn for the worse.
Okay, here we go, into the red trail.
We dropped straight into a red trail that rode like a pump track. Plenty of rollers, well built, and with berms in the right place, it felt as though you were on a toboggan, bouncing from turn to turn.
Oh, this is so much fun!
We'd then cross over and onto the Orange Trail. For me, this trail was the highlight of the trip. The dirt was perfect, the turns connected, and the jumps were just fun and easy to find the flow on. We drive on from the Czech Republic and back into Germany, arriving at Blockhaus. Andrea, the owner and a legendary chainsaw carver, welcomed us with a barbecue. The Block Line is a 140-kilometer trail that takes you on a journey through the east side of the Ora mountain range, and we'd ride a small part of it to discover the carvings littered throughout Andrea's farm. Our journey would now continue on to Dresden. The farmland en route was beautiful, and Tobi knew me all too well. We'd stop off at his favourite coffee shop before going on to explore the city. From the outskirts, we take a bike path into the centre and explore some of the historical and cultural sites. It was beautiful and nice to be able to explore a city by bike. We'd see the central square, pass incredible architecture, ride to the concert hall, and finish by passing the Royal Palace. Next, we'd head on to Black Mountain Bike Park in Elstra, which is Dresden's closest lift-assisted bike park. I had no idea what to expect, but I was completely blown away.
So this is the first time on a drag lift for me, and I'm kind of nervous.
But the shame is I can't see how Scotty's doing.
There were 5 different trails from blue all the way to a pro line. The drag lift would take just 4 minutes to reach the top, and to kick things off, we'd drop into the blue trail. Maybe I'll retract my earlier statement of what trail was the highlight of the trip, because Black Mountain Bike Park was unreal. The blue line flowed so well, and I had a blast lapping it with Tobi. The corners linked like nothing else, and you were bouncing from roller into roller. Next, I'd hit jump line. This was like a proper jump trail. Obligatory doubles, step downs, and even a boner log. freeride trail was kind of like a mini downhill track, rough with optional gaps and a bit less manicured. By the end of the day, we'd have run every trail in the park, and I was pretty blown away by just how much was on offer here. The passionate build crew had done a great job of making something special and utilising the best of the small hills elevation. From here, our journey would take us to the Zittau mountain range. A selection of trails are on offer, but we'd ride the famous rock slabs of Woggon and explore the single track around them. This would be our final stop and an end to what was an incredible few days of riding. I learned a lot culturally and about a whole new trail network in a region I otherwise didn't know of. It'd been great to catch up with my old mate Tobi, and who knows where or when we'd get to ride next.